After a long stress, a long rough storm that the Clippers basically had in the past 3 games, this is like a perfect breath of fresh air. Like literally a fresh air. Like I'm actually happy again. Like I'm literally grinning. I'm feeling satisfied. I hope we continue to play like this. Just like I know the Clippers had some concerning moments, but we pulled it off, man. We pulled that bad boy off. All right, first quarter, we were heating up. Players were making their shots. Sabonis, he was he had a pretty strong uh first half performance. He got some nice rebounds, and I could recall he had like 7 assists, I believe. But then in the second half, he kind of like went kind of cold in some type of way. He was like off. Karis LeVert was a pretty like this man out of all the Indiana Pacers players that literally scared me in this game was Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert, he was being like a walking bucket. He was making all types of shots. Like, man, he was pretty scary. He was really hard to contain. Like I'm telling you. Oh man, this dude was hard to contain, bro. But thankfully, he fouled out. But shout out to Karis LeVert, man. I'm glad to see him play. I'm glad to see that he's okay in general. That his kidneys is like getting better and stuff. So again, I know it's been a while ago, but hey, it's just good to see him playing again. And then Chris Duarte, like ain't gonna lie, the Pacers have have a solid one too, and it's Chris Duarte. He was making some threes too. He was like another guy to kind of that the Clippers were like to be concerned of, if you know what I mean. But we put it off, man. We really put it off. And then Marcus Morris. First of all, let's talk about. I'm gonna talk about player by player, like how I usually do in every video. So Marcus Morris, man, he was pretty darn good in his game. Like this is the Marcus Morris that needs to be in big moments and crunch time in every pretty much every games in general, but especially in big crunch times, especially during playoff times. Like if this Marcus Morris plays like this like every single game, where like I would not really worry too much because he is incredibly crucial and he's just a really great player. When Marcus Morris when he goes more like into like the post and shoot more like the mid range or does his post fadeaways, that's when Marcus Morris tends to be like a really capable player, like a really like what could I say? What type of terminology I could use for Marcus Morris? Like basically like a lethal weapon for any team when he does his post fadeaways. When Marcus Morris is just straight up just chucking a lot of threes and all the stuff I mean if it goes in it goes in and that's a really great thing but during when on the slump time though that's not that thing that needs to trim down if he can. And Morris, like again, his post fadeaway was just really unreal. Like that's how he was getting his buckets, and he was pretty much a really huge firepower for the Clippers today. And then the man himself, Nic Batum, he dropped. He was 70% from the 3 point line. I repeat, 70% from the 3 point line. He was like, man, he was making all types of shots. Like, he was like literally a lifesaver. Like, this is what I love about Nic Batum. Like, if you need a three, if you need a guy to like to like bail the team out, play great defense, being a solid playmaker, and having all the length, Nic Batum is the guy. And the Clippers cannot trade Nic Batum. I'll tell you that much. Like as much as how I talk about how I gas up the young players, but if I had to pick like a veteran to like I'm gonna definitely gas up. I'm gassing up Nic Batum all day. Cause look, Batum, like I know for if you're like more like if you're more on the casual side, if you just just like just look at more of the box scores and all the stuff, like you're gonna be like, oh, what's so special about Nic Batum? He's just a role player and all that stuff. But if you actually watch game to game and game to game, if you're like especially like a hardcore Clippers fan, especially like if you've seen what during playoff time, Nic Batum is just the guy that a championship team would love to have because like this man, he could hit all the corner shots. Um, like I know I'm repeating myself, but play defense, especially with his length. He got like two nice blocks, and he got that one beautiful dunk on. I forgot what is the one that one dude he dunked on. The center dude from the Indiana Pacers. He got dunked on twice. No, it was not Sabonis. I forgot his name. But I'm not gonna lie, he did play pretty solid. But Batum was just on a different level. Homeboy dropped like dude, he dropped like 32 points. It was just like wild, just pretty wild for the Clippers, and that's one amazing thing that the Clippers could definitely have. And look, I don't know, man. I could go on and on and on. I know I'm gonna just accidentally keep repeating myself, but I mean, I'm gonna repeat myself again. Nate Batum, he's just a really amazing veteran piece of player that everybody would, what the whole entire team could definitely have. And then Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson, um, he had some moments that you would question his shot selection. He isos a little bit too much, but he basically was kind of like himself again, at least during crunch time. I know he has his swing factors, but he got two nice, really highlight dunks in my opinion. He got a dunk on that one dude again, and then he got another crazy dunk when he literally got smacked in the head, and then a nice posterizer. And if Reggie Jackson, like I said, when he gets on, it's perfect for the Clippers. It's just perfect. And then Ivica Zubac, like he wasn't the worst, but he could he was solid. He had that one nice post move. He could kind of try to work on being more like a mobile player, but I don't think Zubac was like the worst of the worst, but it kind of took advantage for like it had guards took advantage of Zubac, lack of mobility. But again, we won, so that's a big plus. And Zubac, he wasn't the worst, but he could try to do better. And Hardenstein, welcome back, Hardenstein. I know he played the last game, but Hardenstein dropped like I forgot, but like he didn't like he is a perfect ideal scoring punch energy guy. Like I'm telling you, he's another guy that the Clippers must keep. Like cannot trade Hardenstein as well too, because he's a big energy guy. He could definitely score the ball. He could play the defense, and you cannot go wrong with Isaiah Hardenstein. Because like, look, when Hardenstein played, bro, it was just it was just amazing to see him play in general. Just brings that beautiful energy, and unlike Zubac, Hardenstein's on a more of the mobile side, and that's what the Clippers could definitely use, especially in terms of a big man. And then Amir Coffey. Look, I know every game I'm gonna see as of right now, I'm gonna keep eating my words from what I said about Amir Coffey. And Amir, he was pretty darn good. Um, I believe I forgot how many points he had. I think it was 16 points, and he got. And remember when I said the last video when I said Amir Coffey playmaking is really good? Now it showed because, like, if you even look at the box scores, he had 6 assists. Like, finally, his great playmaking was being shown. Especially, he got a lot of our players to have open looks, like special players like Marcus Morris and Nic Batum and all the other catch and shoot players. Like honestly, if I had to give Amir Coffey a comparison, I would low key give him a way less athletic version of Ben Simmons, but can shoot the ball. And of course has the heart. No shade to Ben Simmons. He's a pretty good player in his own respective manner, but that's just my personal comparison with Amir Coffey because he plays pretty good defense, like how Ben Simmons does. He can pass the ball just like how Ben Simmons does, but he can shoot the ball. Of course, Ben Simmons probably is the better player than Amir Coffey, but if you really think about it, it's actually somewhat like that's pretty much like a solid comparison because you know they're also large and they both of them can play make. And look, I don't know what else I can say about Amir because this dude he he literally proved a lot of people wrong, especially me. And once Kawhi and PG comes back, Amir Coffey is definitely going to be in rotations. And big props to Amir Coffey because his passing is just pretty darn good. I mean, good. Not just like he has moments, but he can. He's capable enough to run point guard, in my opinion. And then pretty much, I believe that's all I just have to say about the Clippers. Like, it's nothing but a really satisfying win, in my opinion. And that should wrap it up. And happy MLK Day. RIP to the King. And again, go Clippers.